As we know, within ministry, there are many callings, but there is one calling that we all share, and that is the call to serve. Service is such an essential part of our Christianity, following the example that Jesus set as a servant leader. So we always want to remember that no matter where we are, no matter what we do, no matter what our station in life may be, there is always a call to serve humanity as well as serve God. As always, it is such a pleasure to be here for the Sanctuary Sunday School, powered by the Sanctuary Academy. I have a very special announcement. I have launched a whole nother channel. I've launched the Sanctuary Kids. I've had the opportunity to evaluate some homeschooling environments, and a lot of our children are suffering for various reasons, and I feel the need, the urge to step in and fill in the gap. Not only will this channel talk about the Bible, but I will be teaching and tutoring and mentoring and reading and math, and I have teachers that will work with me because some of our children are missing an entire school year of adequate instruction. So I want to step in. I just went ahead and launched it, and I want you to share the channel, subscribe, your children, your grandchildren, and I'd also like you to donate. You can donate via CashApp or PayPal because I have instructors coming in. I also have hired people to animate professional videos for these children. I'm tired of the church being the raggediest building in the community and having the most antiquated system and being behind. We the head, not the tail. So I want this to be perfect for our children and really meet that need. So if you can at all, I'd love for you to make a donation, whatever you can give. And again, it should be popping up on the screen somewhere via Cash App or also PayPal, so that I can make sure that this new YouTube channel is a success. But not only that, that it really meets the needs of our children. Welcome to Sanctuary Kids. I'm Miss Val. I created this space for us to have fun learning and exploring the Bible. So get permission from an adult and subscribe today. This week's subject is called to serve, and we're moving along in Paul's journeys, and now we're in Europe with Paul, and he's there and he's ministering, and he encountered a woman named Lydia. Now, when we look at Lydia, it says that she was a woman of purple. To be able to vend or work with purple garments indicated some level of success, some level of stature and prominence and wealth. So we see that this lady Lydia was a businesswoman back in that day, and she was there and she came and she listened to them and she was converted. Now, she was also a Gentile. Lydia was not a Jewish woman, and she was converted. She believed on Christ and she was baptized. And our text said that her entire home was baptized. And as we go through this unit and it's talking about the women, this is a really important example of how powerful women are. When the woman makes a decision to live right and to build your house in a certain way, and when you live your life a certain way, your entire household will follow you. And we see that her entire household was baptized and she believed. And so, as we know, Paul was moving through these missionary journeys, and so he was transient and he didn't have a consistent place to stay. And so we see that she offered him and his team a place to stay. Now, this is significant because she was grateful for being welcomed into the fold, especially because she was not Jewish. So she was appreciative of them accepting her in the faith. So for them to actually come and stay in her home really solidified that kinship that Christianity brought. And that's something I just really wanted to bring out, because as followers of Christ, we are brothers and sisters, and we should be loving and supporting and meeting the needs of each other. We should be concerned about the well-being of each other and be willing to share with each other. And so we see that this Jewish man, Paul, and his missionaries, they went and they stayed in Lydia's house. That broke down that wall of racism and that animosity that existed between the Jews and the Gentiles. And that is such a timely message to be delivered in this day and age when we're seeing exactly the opposite things unfold in our society. So that was very important. And we see that she was a believer and they had a close relationship. And even down when the lesson picks up further in the lesson, when Paul cast the demon, there was a girl who had a familiar spirit. She had a demon and she was following Paul around, and he cast the devil out of her. Now, instead of them being happy that he cast the devil out of her, they imprisoned him because they were making money off of her. Now, this is a whole nother lesson, but this is what happens between the last verse and this 40th verse that we were at. So they were there. And so then it picks up and says that when they got out of prison, so they imprisoned Paul and his team. And when they got out of prison, they came back to Lydia's house and she received them. And that's so important because when you consider, like I said this before, we read these stories and we read about these circumstances as a story. But when you really consider the weight of these stories and this experience of being imprisoned like this, that is a traumatic, trying experience. And to get out of jail and have somebody to open up their home and welcome you back and to help restore you, nourishment and all of these things. And that's what Lydia did. And that's who she was. And that's how she served. And this is a lesson for us as Christians to be able to look at people and to see a need and to meet that need. You may not be able to meet every need that people have, but in your Christian walk, you're going to encounter people that you can help in some way, shape, or form. And my mom used to always drill this in me. She said, if you should cross paths with somebody and you can help them, you don't have a choice. You have to help them. That's why God allowed them to cross your path. You don't have the authority to determine whether they deserve it or not. You have to help them. And if we have that mindset of loving people and helping people, that will draw people to Christ quicker than preaching to them will. When you show them the genuine love of Christ. And that's what we see, called to serve. Like I said at the beginning, this is a call that we all share. We are called to serve each other. If you never set foot in the pulpit, if you never pick up a microphone, if you never lay hands on anybody or anything like that, there is something that you can do to serve, to help your fellow Christian. And that is what being a Christian is all about. They will know that you are Christians by your love. We should exemplify the love of Christ every single day in every single thing that we do as we answer the call to serve.